Hi, I'm Kevin Coupe, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. You know, most retail environments, they will pay attention to how things look. And that's important because visual impact clearly will have an impact on what people buy. Now, a lot of supermarkets will also pay attention to things like taste and smell. Now, I would argue that not enough supermarkets do that, which doesn't really make sense because if something looks good and something tastes good and something smells good, the odds are a lot higher than that the shopper's going to buy it. But not enough pay attention to that. The other day I was listening to a story on National Public Radio which made me think about yet another sense, and that's the sense of hearing. Now the story, which was on a program called Soundcheck, was all about the connection between music and wine. And the argument is, based on a lot of research, is that wine will taste better with certain kinds of music than other kinds of wine will taste with other kinds of music. Basically what they're saying is that a big, meaty Cabernet is going to taste better with Beethoven than, say, with Jimmy Buffett. You know, you might want to save Jimmy Buffett for when you're eating fish. Anyway, they did a little test, and the host of Soundcheck was there, and they blindfolded him, and they gave him 3 different glasses of wine. And for each glass of wine, they played a different kind of music to see what kind of impact it would have on the taste of the wine. They played a little Beach Boys, they played some flamenco, and then they played Metallica. And in fact, the wine seemed to reflect to a certain degree the sounds that he was hearing, the music that he was hearing, which was fascinating because after they took the blindfold off, the big reveal was that the wines were the same. It was all the same Pinot Noir, and the music that he was listening to seemed to have an impact on what he was tasting. And that's really interesting to me. You know, a lot of retailers will have, you know, Muzak or some vague kind of bland kind of music in the background, or they'll be playing some radio station, or they'll be blaring those assaults on the senses, you know, something going on in aisle 4, something going on in the produce department. And in a lot of ways, I think if they worked harder, if they maybe programmed different departments so there was different music for frozen food than there was for produce, and a different music for meat than there was for the wine department, in fact, they might actually be able to sell more, simply because they'll be creating this sort of auditory experience that will heighten the whole experience as opposed to detracting from it or being irrelevant. I think it's a great opportunity. Does it mean you have to work harder? Absolutely. But, you know, working harder and creating for yourself a differential advantage, that's part of the price of trying to be relevant, of surviving in a very, very tough 21st century retail environment. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning, and as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.